Well, today's project is we're going to take the new Garmin LVS42HD transducer off and put the 44 transducer on. Had this transducer on a beat down mount, but it wasn't 100% right and wasn't getting that good a result, so we moved it over to the Garmin mount, and exactly the same results. But first step, I'm doing it on the boat, and it's not that easy doing it on the boat, but first step is, of course, we're going to take these 4 screws out, take the cover off, unplug that. We're going to put our screws into the cover, and then we will continue the next step. All right, next step is going to be we're going to unhook our power supply and blue net cable right here. We're going to untwist that, and then we're going to come back and we're going to cut all of our tape off, and then remove the bracket on the transducer there. Nice thing is, kind of nice, kind of bad. I think this cable that comes with the 42 and 44 is about 2 feet shorter, like 18 feet instead of 20 feet. Before, the cable used to go all the way down inside, but it's right here now, which is actually kind of nice because I want to swap that out. Now I don't have to take everything apart inside the boat to get to that connection, so that's actually a good thing. And we'll do this and proceed to the next step. All right, we got all of our tape off our wire. We got it back down to just the end here. The nice thing about the new 42 and 44, it's got this real small end on there, so we don't have to cut that big end off and replace it. Next step is going to be, we're going to take and cut this zip tie here, this zip tie here. Take this off. I'm going to show you how, I guess if I can get this in here by myself here. Oop, there it went. Maybe it went there. And then there's one, yeah, oh, what the heck, I did get it. And we're going to take that off. So this will come apart. Well, let's try this one. And then we're going to, boy, I got them on there pretty good. I'm going to have to, so I don't cut my wires here. But we're going to cut that, zip tie that, zip tie. These two will come loose. We're going to pull these rubber boots off back. And then there will be a lug inside there with 2 Allen lock screws on each one of these, and we'll pull them apart. So this and that and these 2 power wires will slide down that shaft and out the bottom. All right, so we got the this stuff disconnected. We got these rubber boots pulled back on these lugs right here. It's the one I used is a 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench, and once you get them lugs loose, that should just pull apart like that. And then I'm gonna pull the boots off like that, so you just have this small end. Same thing here with this one. This one seems to be a little bit tougher than, but anyways, you get the idea. We'll get this off, and then we'll show us pulling it through the shaft. All right, just something I've been meaning to mention but keep forgetting is go in your boat and make sure your power is off to your trolling motor before you do any of this. If these 2 wires would happen to touch, you're going to get 36 volts of holy cow coming at you. Scare the shit out of you, but just in case, that'd be a good idea to make sure the power's off. All right, we're up here at the trolling motor end. I decided to leave this bracket on. Got the 42 transducer off of there. I'm gonna see if that'll just hang there for a little bit. So then the next step is we get our little wrench that we got, and we're gonna go see how it fits over the wire, and then we're just gonna loosen this nut here. Let's not do that. I don't like that idea, but I don't want it to fall either. Just kind of hard to do, and trying to do this whole thing by yourself. Well, you get the idea. So anyways, we're going to loosen that up, and there's a little rubber plug in there with a hole in it, and then we're going to pull that out. That frees up this cable, and then now when we get Then the next, I am going to have to take that off because I have to get to these bolts right here. So this lower unit will come off. And then once we pull this lower unit off a little bit, our transducer wire from this transducer right here comes up through here and into the back right into here. And then that is where we'll go in here with the little small end, and we'll have to loosen that nut in there, so that wire will also come out with all of that. And that was the orange yellow ended one right there. That will have to get pulled all the way through here to get our wires out. So we will continue this in a little bit. All right, we got that all off. Like I was talking, here's where you need the little end of the wrench. Goes in right in there, secures that cable watertight. Pulled all of our cables through. One little thing that's helped me out is I take the collar and I turn it down just so this is out so far. That gives me a little room to tilt this, plus it'll hold it from coming out any further or falling. So there's all of our cables out. Actually came out pretty easy. A little install tip on when we put these back in. We spray them with WD-40, then take a rag and wipe it down a little bit. Helps it slide up that shaft in there really easy. It goes, I shouldn't say really easy, I'll jinx myself, but I've been having pretty good luck with that. So now we'll pull this transducer cable out. One of the most important things is watch where this little lock collar goes. So we want to get that on our cable before we put the new transducer on. Otherwise you got to take everything apart again to get that on. The little rubber piece that goes over the cable and in that hole looks like that. And if I could find another one of these, I'm going to be running a 42 and a 44, one off the other side here where this other plug is here for the bottom side. We'll just have two transducer cables running up the shaft. Okay, the easy part's done. Now is the hard part. So what we got here, see this little blue gasket? I had a kit, an install kit. We put a new gasket on there and here. And what we do, I got some marine synthetic grease. So we put a little bit down in that groove where that O-ring goes right there. And then we put the O-ring on and we work it down in there. And the grease will hold that little O-ring in there. And we also lubed up this outside one. I don't know if you can see that, but one of the hardest parts is keeping that O-ring in that groove while you're trying to get all this wire up into there. Okay, and we got all our wires lubed up with WD-40. Wipe them down a little bit. We have our collar on. Don't forget that, otherwise you're gonna have to start over. The other thing we do is we shove the transducer wire in there, but just so it kind of, I don't know if you can see up there, but just so it comes out the end, we take our 2D transducer with this GT54, whatever that is, and that comes through here. We stick that in, get that up there too. So what's going to happen is we're going to get this about 3/4 of the way, and it's going to stop and be like, oh, you know. So, but when you can grab onto all these wires at the same time and push, it will go. And if you have all your wires run tight already and you're just working with these wires coming off of here, you're going to be in a hurt bag. So it's just something that helps me. But wish me luck. We're going to see if we can get all of this. My little cooler helper stand on my end gate, doing this by myself here. It's yeah, once you do it once, it's not so bad. But stay tuned. All right, we're to the critical part here. We got that transducer wire in there, that nut tightened up. That's actually pretty tough. But now we're to this stage right here of getting this all to seal up. See my little blue gasket there. I got to get in a little bit, but this rope trick worked pretty good to hold it there. I just have to run around a couple times and tug on the wires there a little bit. But we're almost to the close up stage. We'll get the bottom on, and then we'll see how much of that 44 transducer wire we need to get shoved in there. And I got the plugs for it right there, the rubber plugs, and I also have the bottom one out just so I can view in there, make sure I'm not pinching anything. So here we go. Well, everything went good. Got everything in Just the other thing I thought of is you got 6 bolts, long ones, mediums, and short ones in the back. Make sure you put a little bit of that grease on them O-rings when you put that together. Got the transducer on. I don't know if you can tell how that's angled a little bit, but I have a trick for that. I had a beat down 0 degree on my other transducers, but there's a trick to getting this one to work. It's not my trick, but I'm gonna do it, and I don't want to ruin someone else's glory. But we got the transducer all strung. We got it taped up to the shaft. We got it coming through here with this other little grommet. The other thing I forgot to mention is when we tape all these together and we shove them through, see how they're staggered a little bit? And when we tape them all up like that, when you get to the critical end on the bottom, you'll have one wire all the time that needs to go a little bit further. And if you don't, when this comes through, take the tape off so each one of these are individual again, and then you can just push them through just a little bit however you need to. But we will commence to putting this top cap back on. Just remember, we have rubber boots right there that go on our wires first here. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you'll get the idea. But we'll get them all on there, get it all buttoned up, and we'll get a little picture of what we got going. And then last time I did this with the 42, turned my graph on, said no transducer, so we'll give you a little tidbit on how to get that to function on there too, so that works. Well, we're here to the stage where we're gonna close this all up. We got our black, our red, Merry Christmas, our red and our black zip tied off to these little posts so they can't move around in there. I like to zip tie this one together here, so when we put our cover on, we're not actually going to shove a screw through one of these holes and into one of these wires, damage the coating or something. So we just want to make sure we're clear of that. And then the cover will go back on, put our 4 screws in from the back side, and then hopefully we'll get this thing turned on here in the driveway and show you what's going to happen. It's going to say no transducer found or some dumb thing, and you're going to get all worried, and just like I did, but we'll get her figured out. Stay tuned. All right, here we are. Everything's hooked up, everything's powered up. Got all the graphs on in the boat, and then we come up with this LVS42 source not found, check network. All right, you need to get your network connection figured out. That means go into your, establish your Wi-Fi network on your graphs. Go into your phone, into settings, select, this is a Vexus DVX23S, so I have it labeled Vexus 23S on my Wi-Fi network. So now I'm gonna go in and on my Active Captain app and link all my graphs to it, and it'll still keep saying this for quite a while. And you'll be like, son of a gun, I need to call somebody. I need to get this figured out, and start panicking just like I did the first time I did it. And I think it just takes some time for everything to update, and it takes everything some time to link together. And then all of a sudden it'll say water, out of water, or water not detected. And then you should be ready to go and head to the water and put her in, or we can mess with the transducer a little bit, get a bucket of water here and some other rags or whatever, so it knows that thinks it's in the water anyways. But anyways, now that I'm here, there's a little trick to get your transducer straightened out. I don't know, you can ask about it, I guess, but it's somebody else's idea, not mine. I don't want to ruin their glory. So well, let's get this figured out, and I'll show you what it'll say once it's all done and we're ready to hit the water. All right, let's run through something here real quick while I'm here. So this is 9217 XSV. So what we're going to do is hit options. We're going to come over here, hit settings, and then we are going to go to communications, and then we're going to go to the Wi-Fi network. And right here it says C1, that is my DVX23, devices connected 1. Okay, there we are. And then when I go to my Active Captain app, now it's showing me that I have an LVS42 and an LVS44 in my Active Captain app, and now it's linking, and I think it must be doing updating and everything. We will exit out of here. And it's still saying this, but sooner or later, once it'll come up and say, hey, we are out of water. or something like that on the screen, and then we'll know it's working. All right, here we are, water not detected. We should be ready to go. What I had to do is went into Active Captain, turn the Wi-Fi on like we talked about in the previous little video there. Came up and I actually unplugged. It says everything is there, everything is updated, but it kept saying LVS42 transducer not found. So what I did is unplugged my BlueNet cable from the back here, which is, I'm not looking, but this one right here. I unplugged it, plugged it back in, and then it said communication lost with LVS44 transducer. Plugged it back in. What I did then, I was still saying something about the 42. I went to my home page and I added a combo, and I just selected pan optics, live scope, whatever it is. Let's close out of this. And then bang, there it was. We just had to get that LVS42 out of there for recognizing that and bringing in the 44. So it's a little bit more complicated when you're swapping from the 42 HD to the 44, but we should be all ready to go. There it is, all set up. Yeah, and then maybe we'll go fish a tournament here in a couple days. Everything is live scope. See, gain, range, sonar setup. Noise reject, we are going to turn that off right away. Ghost reject, we are going to turn that off right away. TVG off, overlay installation. Water detection on, orientation, we were going to put that in forward just so it stays there. We're going to go back to live scope, transmit, layout. Here, let's go back, installation, install depth. There's a good one. Here, let's go over. I always put this at 2.5 feet. That way we'll see our splash from our jig or whatever we're pitching in the water. If we don't do that, we won't see that. So done. There, we're going to go back, appearance, amber. We're going to start color gain, default, weird color gain. What I found on the other one, I should leave this on default, but we're going to go up to, yeah, we're just going to leave it on default, and then we'll play with it there. But the other one I found was, the best was 57. So, but we'll see what this is, a whole new transducer. We'll see what it does. Back, bottom fill off, trails off, gain, amber. Okay, ghost reject, everything out, appearance, back. There we are, ready to go. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment.